Hello and welcome back to the Weird and Proud podcast. It's Sam and
I think the hand gestures were helping.
I know I'm doing a little
Lot of
choreography,
hand.
a little dance, if you will.
James.
James, hello everyone. Hope everyone's having a great week. We have an amazing episode for you, per usual. I can't wait to discuss what I have to discuss with you.
I am,
He doesn't even know.
as usual, do not know, which I'm
He
excited
does not
about.
know. And James has an interesting science corner that I'm really excited about to hear more.
Yeah.
So, we just have an all around great episode. We're back to your usual scheduled content. Obviously, if you missed it last week, we talked about Spain, our trip. We got home really late last weekend, so it was probably a little bit of a delusional recap, but I think it was pretty good. I think we recapped mostly everything.
Definitely a delusional recap.
Yeah, we were pretty tired, but that never stops us. The show goes on, and we feel like covered most of the questions. So make sure you listen up if you had any questions about Spain. How are you doing, James? You hanging in there?
Great.
How's your jet lag?
It was a weird adjustment this week. Absolutely. Yeah.
I've been getting tired really early, but so far, it hasn't been horrible, which has been nice.
No, day one, the first couple days were an easy adjustment.
Yeah.
But then that adjustment catches up with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
but early, yeah.
Yeah, I was up really early all those days, slept good, but still it is like your body's just off because of the change of sun.
Yeah, it is. It takes a while. And we also had a rough week. If you also were following along, our cat decided that she was pissed we didn't bring her to Spain and faked death. So,
She hurt her leg.
oh my God. She hurt her leg. And this is just I talked about this too on social media, but me, literally, we got home from Spain and Kiara, who has cancer, we were told she has 6 to 12 months to live. We're on almost month 6. So I'm just super nervous about everything she does. She was limping, acting weird. And, of course, I'm like, cancer spread. She's dying. They were doing x-rays. We brought her into the emergency and they were like, we don't know what's going on. You're going to have to meet with the internist. I think my thoughts the entire time, we're gonna have to put this cat down. This is it. The cancer spread. It's over. And of course, James was like, don't worry. She's gonna be fine. It's just a muscle thing. It's just a tissue. She just jumped down on it. And I'm like, James, I don't know. She's really in a lot of pain. I don't know. I can't watch her be in this much pain. And of course, we go finally meet with orthopedic veterinarian, which they're orthopedic veterinarians. And he was like, oh, yeah, it's just tendonitis. We just put a cast on her. She's the cutest freaking cat. She looks like a little pirate kitten. And she's doing great. She was just in here. She's just walking around acting like nothing happened. Except Mummy dropped another $3,000 on her, added to the list. And she's fine. She's fine. Nothing happened. She didn't literally send me into a spiral for 3 days. Animals. Love them.
You handled it pretty well.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
Relatively speaking.
Sure. So anyway, so it's kind of a rough week, but but luckily everything turned out okay. For now, she's good. And we're on to the next. So James, anything else you want to say before we jump into things?
Nope, I'm excited to jump into the things.
Okay. So we're going to do some weird news. I have a weird news case, and it's a little more true crime again. I don't want to turn this into a true crime podcast in any means, but I just feel like this case has also taken over social media. Everyone's talking about it. It's a super bizarre, weird case, and it is the case of Mica Miller. If you have not heard about it, if you're on TikTok, you've probably seen it. Again, if you're a true crime person, you've probably heard this in the realm. So we're going to talk about that. And then James is going to talk about mirrors, which is my biggest fear in life. And of course, we have some hilarious, giggle-worthy, out-of-pocket, my favorite phrase, secrets, weird secrets. So without further ado, let's jump into this Mica Miller case. Obviously, James, you have not heard anything about this, right?
Not a thing.
Okay. So just to, again, set the stage for you if you have not heard of this case. So again, her name's Mica Miller. It's a female. She basically, this all started going viral on social media because her husband is a pastor. They live in South Carolina, and he was giving a sermon on a Sunday, and this was late April. And he's doing a normal sermon, usual self, smiling through it, whatever. At the end, he goes, "I just need to let you all know that my wife has um but she has committed schmooze. I don't want to say the word. Sometimes these get flagged if I say the word.
Yeah.
And just so you guys know, and I'm going to be taking a couple days off, but please don't talk about it. I just wanted to let you guys know." And so it went viral on social media because everyone's like, "What the fuck?" Because he live streams his sermons. So everyone recorded it and we're like, "Wait, that's kind of weird. Weird way to announce it." So then all of these details start coming out that are a little fishy. So again, she's married to this guy. His name's John Paul, is the
Okay.
pastor's name. Okay. And she was found, this is late April, I think it was April 27th in South Carolina, about an hour from where they live. And she was found in a national state park in kind of this secluded area. She, with a gunshot, with a gun. That's how she did it. And she had driven there and then walked an hour in the state park and did it in the state park. She also was found floating in a stream in the state park. So it's just kind of a bizarre scenario. And they found her, and she had also made a 911 call right before she did it. She basically called 911 and said, "Just so you know, I'm about to do this, and I just want my family to know where I am. Can you just make sure that you can track this phone call?" And the woman on the call is like, yeah, let me check. Yeah." And then she just hangs up, Micah. So all of these details start coming out because again, it was just kind of weird, kind of a bizarre people. She also, let me just say too, she was struggling with some mental health issues. She had some depression issues and had been in and out of therapy and different medications. She was also in the middle of a divorce from John Paul. Okay. So a lot of this is alleged. It hasn't come out in court yet, but apparently they are going to be going to court. But again, the day of her death, it's all really weird. She was seen on video footage going into this into a gun shop and buying this gun. She was also, apparently there was a fisherman nearby and he heard someone wailing, crying, and then heard the gunshot and found her bag halfway downstream with all of her information in it, with her ID in it. And John Paul wasn't home at the time. He was at a quote unquote athletic event, a quote unquote unaccompanied by a friend who turns out to be his girlfriend that he's having an affair on Mica with. Her name is Susie Skinner. And she apparently also had an ex husband that also mysteriously died. And apparently, even when her husband, her then husband died in 2021, she was having, they just had started the affair with John Paul. So they've been having an affair for a while. And all of this stuff started coming out that Micah was really abused by John Paul and that she was in the process of getting a divorce, was in the process of getting a no contact, and basically was saying that he was scaring her. She apparently had brought her car in March, a month before this happened, because her tires were slashed. And they found a tracking device on her car. She also said she was getting hundreds of spam calls. And she says she thought it was her husband who was doing this, was trying to get, this restraining order from him because she thinks he's harassing her, because they were kind of separated at this time just because they were in the process of getting a divorce. And she also, what was really weird too, again, all this stuff is slowly starting to come out over the last couple weeks. But even when she had met her husband, John Paul, she was 14 at the time and he was 28. And they had met in church. And even when he was 28, he was still dating other people. He's kind of a serial cheater, serial liar type of guy. And allegedly, even in his first marriage, or well, actually, technically, I think he was married at the time when he met her and when he was having an affair with a 14-year-old age girl. He was also married at that time to his first wife. And she had also allegedly said that he was abusive to her as well at this time. And then, of course, not soon after to Micah's death, there were all of these videos and pictures of him, John Paul, out to eat with his new, girlfriend Susie, and them happy and giggling and laughing. And this bombshell, it just came out last week, is that they found a binder that Micah kept and journal of like everything that was going on with her relationship with John Paul. And not all of it has come out because there is going to be a court date and there's going to be a trial. But there's all this information about like all the alleged abuse that happened and these letters of John Paul apologizing, admitting to doing all of these things. And all of this just like really weird stuff about him. Like he would make her go to find Schmeck's workers and he would make her watch stuff that he would do with these people and he would make her do things that she didn't want to do, and he would like do weird things with a dog apparently, also trigger warning, sorry. But there are just all these rumors that he was just like really just like kind of sick in the head too, and that he maybe had all these mental issues as well. And he like even like all these leaked footages coming out of his sermons of him like talking about like, yeah, I'm not doing well, like I'm on lithium right now, and I can't barely get out of bed. And so now the family has hired an attorney, because what's also bizarre is that John Paul has a lot of friends in the sheriff county and with the police. And apparently they rushed for Micah to be cremated. When the sheriff's county was like, please don't cremate her. And the family was asking, they're like, she's never wanted to be cremated. We don't want her to be cremated. But John Paul rushed it and even did the cremation before they could even do a full autopsy. They didn't even get to do an autopsy on her. And they were like, what? Why would you do that? We've literally asked you to not do it so that we can do an autopsy. And they did it anyways. And they also found that there were other bullet casings near where her body was found. So there wasn't just maybe one gunshot. They said maybe there, were others. They couldn't find other bullets. It looked like there was maybe a bullet hole in one of the trees nearby. And the family believes that they had seen that she had scratches up and down her arms. So they're like, were these defense wounds? Was she fighting someone? And they also believe they like hired an investigator to look into the 911 call, because that also has been released. If you want to listen to it, you can find it on TikTok, or you can look it up. But it's just like she's so monotone, which of course, a lot of people are like, that's what happens a lot of the time at this point. They've made their decision, and a lot of people think it could be AI generated, the voicemail that was left. Like her family's like, that doesn't sound like her. She like she's talking really weird. She's saying things she wouldn't say. And so now the FBI is apparently investigating and is interested in the case. And it's gonna go to trial now, but it's like kind of a really weird, bizarre case. And especially too, like it's just really interesting how much social media has to do with a lot of these cases now, especially because people can, like a lot of family members have gone on, like John Paul's ex girlfriends, from years and years ago have gone on and said, yeah, like, basically confirmed what Mica was saying, and what her family was saying is that he is abusive, he's a serial cheater, and he is kind of like he grooms these young girls, like a lot of these girls he finds in church, and he'll groom them and make them his lovers. So I'm curious, guys, if you've, number one, heard about this case. Again, it's so recent. Like this literally happened at the end of April in 2024. So this just came out. It feels like it's giving like a very like Gabby Petito. Do you remember that girl?
Which one was that?
That was the girl too who she went away with like her boyfriend at the time in this van. They were doing camping life, and then she just disappeared, and like everyone was looking for her. I felt like the entire internet was like trying to find her. Her body was found. They said it was a schmooshide. Then it came out that the boyfriend was involved, but it was like all over social media.
I remember that one now.
Yeah, you probably, if you saw like pictures of her, you'd be like, oh yeah, I do remember seeing that.
Dude, there was a documentary on that one, wasn't
There
there?
was there was honestly so many, like they did like 2020s on it. Like there's a
That's
ton of
maybe that's what we
information.
saw.
But everyone's talking about like this is going to be a documentary for sure at some point. But it's just like so early in the case, and obviously like it just happened. So I don't even know when they're going to go to trial. It could be, like sometimes it's like years from not years, but hopefully not years. But just really crazy stuff. And like obviously this poor woman, Micah, obviously no matter what, she struggled a ton with her own mental health. No matter what happens, it's a horrible story. So sad, but it is like what really happened and what was going through. And a lot of people, she also like posted a lot on Facebook, and there'd be videos of her like kind of giving like inspirational messages. Like, a couple weeks before she passed, she was like, don't give up, don't let people boss you around. And so a lot of people are thinking, and of course, this is where it gets a little woo woo, and obviously take this with a grain of salt. But there's this psychic woman
Oh boy.
who who apparently has not saw but like given a lot of good hints, and like always been in the right direction. Her name's like Sloan something. If you look up Sloan Psychic on social media, on the internet, you'll be able to find her. But she predicts, she was like, I think there was another woman in the woods with her, and she was being coerced to make the phone call. That's what a lot of people are too. Like, is that weird that someone would make that call and not leave a note specifically, and just kind of, be like, this is what's happening? I don't know. It's all just very strange, very weird, obviously very sad too, of course, as well. And I think justice for Micah. Like something was going on. And regardless, like, even if he, of course, didn't put the gun to her head, like she was under a lot of duress and
Yeah.
a lot of stress, and there was obviously a lot going on at home, and you just feel for her, and hopefully there are more answers, especially for the family, because it's like it is just weird, the whole cremation thing and rushing everything. And it's almost like, people are like, it's too perfect of a, not perfect, that's probably not the word, but it's like too, like it was so, it was like tried to make as obvious as possible. She was going to do this to herself. She went to the gun store, by herself. She made this call to make sure everyone knew, I'm by myself. I'm here in the state park. I'm doing this, and I want you to know where I am so you can come find me. And, it's almost, I don't know. What do you think?
I have questions.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to ask some for the people, but then I'm going to ask some
Yeah.
James type
Yeah. What
questions
did I
too.
miss out?
I don't know if you missed. I don't think you missed anything, but just to spell out her name so people can look it up.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
her name?
Mica. Micah Miller.
Micah Miller. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Micah. I
always.
hope that I'm saying that right. Yeah. It's got to be Micah. I was like, is it Mica? No, it's
No,
definitely
you're saying it.
Micah.
I just,
Yeah.
just thought you spell it out so people can search it.
Yep.
Um, of course, condolences to the family first and
Yeah. Of
foremost.
course. Oh, my God.
No matter what the outcome is, right? No matter
Yep.
what justice
Right.
looks like,
Right.
answers
Never.
should be justice,
Yeah.
right? There's whatever the truth happens to be, and however close they can get to it.
Yep.
Um, let me. That was a good story. You told it really well. There's a lot to
There's
that.
a lot, and there is, of course, there's like a bunch of these different true crime pages on TikTok specifically that like break down and do a lot of the coverage of these cases. So I've kind of picked from like a bunch of like kind of the most top, creators that are posting about this, of like what I feel like is most relevant. Cause there's all this other like kind of, some other stuff about the dad, like John Paul's dad, and how he's sketchy, and but so you can do more research. Like there's definitely more of these alleged rumors and sketchy things going on, but that's the gist.
So, where is the internet leaning on how all of this came
Just
about?
justice for Micah is like
What
trending
does
right
that
now.
mean?
they think something happened. Like either so they were saying like what a lot of people are saying is either even if she did, do this, which of course, no again, of course, no matter what, like of course she was stressed out, like
Yeah.
completely, beyond belief was in a horrible situation and she's not longer with us, so it's sad no matter what, but they think maybe either if someone did coerce her into do it, or just like if her husband had pushed her in any way, like if he could be held responsible for the duress that she was in. I don't even know how that works. Like I don't even know if you can even put someone, like can you be arrested for, is it like a bullying situation? I don't know. And of course, so much of the, quote unquote evidence too hasn't really come out. Like all this stuff from her journal, because it's being entered into evidence and it's going to trial. We really don't know exactly what these letters say. It's all kind of hearsay and general ideas, but
Is the trial to just determine if it's a possibility of murder or foul
yeah,
play? That's
yes,
what this is about.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Who's filing charges?
The family.
What are the charges?
I don't know exactly what the charges, just more like to look into the death.
Okay.
And more like open her case back up because they basically were like, it's schmooshide, case closed,
Open
done
the
and done.
investigation.
At least open it, yeah. And
Okay.
just look more into it, like up some of the things, like what were those casings in the woods? Look more into the voicemail because apparently too there are other rumors that like it wasn't coming. They couldn't track her phone. Like it wasn't from her original phone that voicemail was left, or not the voicemail, but the 911 call was
Yeah,
called
yeah,
on.
yeah.
So like looking to see where the phone, that 911 call was.
Tell us more about the gun store. What's out about that?
Well, not much other than just surveillance. And she also apparently had said to her dad that he has messages from her saying, "Dad, like I think I need to get a gun to protect myself." So, so it's just, I don't know, it's kind of like when I first had heard about it, it's like, oh, this is so, so sad. But like, how do they prove, that someone else did it? Like, if it was, coerced or like someone put, the gun to her, it's how do you prove that?
And some of these will now be geared to, and James's through my lens, right? How I
Yep.
think about stuff.
Yep.
Is there any validity to the AI thing, or are people just throwing stuff
That's
against
just
the
being
wall?
thrown for right now.
Got
Like
it.
apparently they hired like a team
Of course,
to
that
like look
I'm
into it.
not saying it shouldn't be looked into,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
sounds like that there's very little idea. And
Totally.
again,
And a lot of this is alleged. It's,
tell
it's
me,
hearsay from the family.
remind us about the fisherman who found a bag.
Yeah, well, there was a stream in the state park, and apparently, like her body was found in the stream with the
Yeah,
gunshot wound, and her bag was found. Like they didn't say exactly how far away he was, but far enough away where he could hear the gun. He said one gunshot. That was all he heard.
that's
Yeah,
what I wanted to know.
and he
That's
said
where I was leading.
that he heard her crying, could hear her crying.
You told me the crying, but he
So,
heard one
he had to
gunshot.
be somewhat close, but he found when he was walking along the stream, found her bag with all her. So it's just
Did he hear anyone else that we know of?
not that he no.
Okay.
So what do you guys think? Comment below, let me know. Also, I also covered this
Oh, I'm
because
not done
so
yet.
many people had said what?
Oh, I got more.
What else
Well,
you got?
now there's some behavioral things to this.
Yeah.
We'd have to look this one up just to make sure, and maybe I should. But, and again, I do not pretend to take anything involving someone's death, and especially suicide, lightly. But to play internet sleuth,
Yep.
meaning I have no facts, I'm just going off what I hear. To have the pastor, actually, that doesn't surprise me. Never mind. Scratch that from the record. I was going to say to have him admit to everyone she committed suicide
Yeah.
is very suspicious. Like he could just say, my wife has passed and I'm dealing with it.
Right.
That's how the average person would say it.
Right.
But he seems to have enough of his own problems that actually doesn't surprise me that
Yeah,
much.
he does seem like he's a little bit of a narcissist.
That doesn't really implicate him
Yeah.
anymore. But a big one is a woman committing suicide with a gun. That does not happen a lot.
No.
Women typically use less, both when women are either murdering or
Yeah.
committing
Yeah.
suicide.
Yep.
From what I understand, guns are not a common
No.
thing that they use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So, yeah, it's just all weird. I'm curious what you guys think. A lot of people had messaged and said to cover this because we were talking about the Karen Reed, which is another big one, which is still ongoing. If you guys, again, are interested in that case and have been keeping up, I have mentioned this before, but Ashley Mary, Ashley Merry, she's on Instagram and she has all these highlights. She watches the court, like she's live watching the court every day, the trials, and giving you notes on like what's happening. And I feel like that's going to be a little far out too of what ends up happening there. It's just all kind of wild. And another like kind of conspiracy of like people friends with the cops and the cops being involved in the murder. Remember that one we talked about a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
So just kind of crazy stuff going on, and everyone's talking about it. A couple people had asked me to cover it. So I obviously think something fishy is going on. Obviously, again, not to keep reiterating this, but it's so sad regardless. I feel so sorry for her family, that she was going through this and struggling, but it just seems a little sketchy. And nonetheless, John Paul seems like a total douche monster.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So anyways, so that's kind of your weird news update. But curious what you guys think. Comment below. What do you think? And if I missed anything, let me know. If there's any like other evidence, because again, it's like people hear things, they see, so people post on social media things. Let me know.
I just want to know what the facts are.
The facts, exactly. And that's what sometimes can be hard with social media.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
It's
the
like,
tough
what
part
is
to
this
wade through it.
actually a fact? Or are you just kind of, blowing this up a little bit?
The dad part with the gun, right? She said she might need protection for a gun. Is that a provable conversation, or is that a
Right.
dad just saying something?
Right.
Not to
Yeah. Right.
meanly point fingers, but
Totally.
I'm not taking a side on it, but you just have to think of all potential outcomes.
Totally.
So,
Agreed. All right, James. To move on to transitioning.
oh, thank God we're back to transitioning.
I couldn't really
My
think
brain
of a
can't
transition
handle it
out of that
without
one,
that.
out of the sad, weird news story. But we brought up a couple weeks ago, and this is actually also like helped receive a lot of new weird secrets about like weird fears that we have. And I had mentioned that I have a fear of mirrors.
Why are you afraid of mirrors again?
My face is scary. It's
Your
spooky.
face is not scary. It's so
It scares
beautiful.
me. No, I'm kidding. I feel like every horror movie is like you see someone behind you in a mirror.
Yep.
Do you remember doing Bloody Mary? Did you ever do Bloody Mary?
No,
I
you've
couldn't remember
told
if we
me
talked
about
this,
that.
but
You've absolutely told me.
there was always some sort of thing, I feel like, when I was growing up in school where we would all go into the bathroom and it was either like you said like certain names, like Bloody Mary was definitely a thing, where you would say her name 5 times in the dark. And then when you turned on the lights, you would see her behind you. Like
Okay.
she would appear. There was just always weird shit with like mirrors and like saying things into mirrors. And I've always heard too, like, I had a friend that did a lot of feng shui
Okay.
stuff. And she always said, never put mirrors in your bedroom because mirrors can be seen as portals. And there's always like this weird discussion about like mirrors being portals.
It does not sound like someone doing feng shui.
Well, she's also a little woo-woo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It sounds like definitely woo-woo.
But she said that, it can sometimes like bring in negative energy.
Why is that?
I don't know. Like, I think too, like it is like this thing where sometimes like mirrors, there's this idea that mirrors hold energy. So anyone that's had them or looked into them, there's this part where like their, reflection is forever etched on that mirror.
Okay.
In some way. And I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like too, like there are always these things that I have, seen again on my years of being chronically online where like, you look into the mirror, if you stare into your eyes long enough, like there's this idea that if you look into the mirror and stare into your own eyes, that you can like see the real you. Like, and you have to look in your eyes in the mirror for like an hour, like something crazy like that, and not move your eyes and just stare. Like, apparently, like you can get the answers to like all of life.
That just sounds like actually well-practiced meditation.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's just, I don't know what it is.
I
Like
think
mirrors are weird.
I think if any one of us out there just sat and thought for an hour,
Yeah.
rather than having to do stuff, you'd probably come up with the same answer.
True. But I don't know what it is. Like mirrors are, especially like when I'm freaked out and we've just seen a scary movie, like, and even windows. Windows also scare me. Like I'm just scared something's gonna pop up, something's gonna jump up behind me, or like that was always too. If I ever saw a scary movie and you get home at night and it's pitch black out and you're like walking through your house, I'm like, don't look in the window, don't look in the window, don't look in the window, because I was scared if I'd look in the window, even if I saw, like, I feel like my eyes would fuck with me and like like have something like out of the corner of my eye
Of
move. So I'm like,
course.
oh my god, someone's like looking at my window.
Yeah. And do you think some of this could be maybe just because so many directors use it as a
No, James, no, because it's true.
oh, that's right.
James, you know what's funny too? Like, how are mirrors?
Oh boy. Do we want to break that down?
Like, what is a mirror? Like, is it a portal? It's like the reflection of the light of the.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
The only
that's
thing that we can see reflects light.
okay. Sure.
So this microphone,
Yeah.
in a way, is like a mirror because it's reflecting
I
light.
know. Is that what you're gonna say? So, what were you gonna tell me about mirrors in James Science Corner?
Well, in the science corner, what if I told you? Now you can have I'm going to have some questions, and I want you to have as much
Oh
fun with this
God.
one as you want.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
But what if I told you that there is a chance that the entire universe is just one big series of mirrors looking at itself?
Honestly, that feels kind of right. Like it feels like simulation vibes.
Either simulation vibes or so we're staring at a mirror in the room
This
right
is
now.
always a conversation too, where it's like, if I'm looking at that, like, how do I know what I'm looking at is what you're looking at?
How
Or
do
like
you
what
know?
I'm seeing is what you're seeing. Like we can describe it, but like, is it really the same?
So what's on the other side of that mirror?
A portal. No.
It
Um.
could be.
Well,
What is
technically,
it?
it's a wall slash a window.
There's a wall slash a window. But when you're looking at the mirror, you're seeing this whole other
Yeah,
side.
the other side of
And
the
then,
room,
of course,
right?
the theory of the endless mirror,
Right. Even
or if you have
spookier.
mirrors.
Oh my god.
So
Stuffing
imagine
mirrors.
the two walls, instead of those being walls, they're just mirrors, right?
Yeah.
So picture this room that we're in is just a room of mirrors,
It's
and
so
that's
scary. It's
kind
my
of the
worst nightmare.
universe.
Yeah.
That's what there are chances that the universe
Is one big
is a
mirror.
series of mirrors. Yeah. Now again,
Is
you
this a
asked
theory or is this like
the
someone
absolute
proved?
theory,
Okay.
but they do have some background. They're doing some background, not radiation, background microwave, cosmic microwave background
Microwaves.
data.
It always comes back to microwaves.
Everything's a wavelength. A light is
Literally,
wavelength. So
everything's a microwave and everything's a mirror.
so in with this cosmic microwave background data, what they're trying to do. So the science part is what they're trying to do is to find out the shape in a way of the universe, right? And they can only use math and theoretical physics to figure this out because we can't
Sure.
see what the shape of it is.
Of course.
But now also we have the James Webb Telescope is out there. When you talk about
CERN? Is it CERN?
no,
Oh, shit.
how do you think CERN is like a telescope? CERN is in the middle
Yeah,
of a
but CERN
mountain in
always has crazy
Switzerland.
shit going on in there. I don't know. It always comes back to CERN too.
I'll
CERN's always
see if
doing
I can.
crazy
I
shit.
will see if I can tie CERN into this.
And CERN, if you don't remember, is like what would you call it? An institute? A scientific institute in
it's
Switzerland?
more it's not. It is kind of an institute. It's a research facility.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're smashing electrons together
Time
to
traveling.
see. Originally, it was time traveling. It kind of deals with it, yes. But it has to do with smashing electrons together to what
time
they said at
travel.
one time was the God particle, or what could have initiated the Big Bang. But they're also finding out so much more about exactly how the makeup of not just the makeup of molecules, but the actual makeup of electrons, like what makes an electron or
Yeah,
what
yeah,
makes
yeah.
a proton,
Sure.
right? There, and now you're into that idea between what is matter and then now they're looking at like the spaces between matter, the antimatter,
Yep.
and how that fabric of the universe is such an important part. But again, we're so focused on what we can see or feel or understand that those things don't always get studied.
Mm,
Back to the idea of the universe potentially being a mirror. So let's say that we do have this James Webb telescope is billions of years away, like getting away from the Earth, and it's just on a mission to go see the ends of the universe.
sure.
And well, it's sending back info. Could some of that info just kind of be bouncing around and we're looking at the same
The
spots in the universe?
reflection.
Yep. Are we looking at the same spots in the universe? And just
Interesting.
through a different reflection, right? But here's the question I have for you. This didn't come up in the article, but I wanted you to think about it.
Okay.
So then what could be on the other side? Because if the universe is partially a mirror, that means it's partially defined. But of course, it seems infinite because if we
Yeah.
had two full wall mirrors and you looked, you would see until you were so small you can't even see yourself anymore,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah. And those mirrors are so weird. Like I still like don't understand mirrors. Okay, keep going.
but what's on the other side of that mirror? Again, here we define that there's something on the
A
other side of
portal
that
to
mirror.
the underworld.
But is it?
I don't know,
Because the
James. You tell
mirror is just
me.
showing a reflection. Like I can see a picture of Prue that's on our wall.
Yeah.
On the other side of that, now that's
What's
the
on the other side?
interesting part.
Another mirror.
And is that where the stuff that goes into a black hole goes?
A black hole. That's what they're up to. I don't know.
That's
That's
called a
mirrors just
singularity.
freak me out.
Now that's a singularity point, which they are starting to understand more about with CERN. See, I tied it back to CERN for you.
CERN.
Yes, but
Should we do a whole episode on CERN? Let us know.
oh my God, please.
Yeah, let us know if there's anything else you want James to look into. Oh, you still need to look into retinol too, by the way.
Maybe I should break down the physics of horror movies
I don't know.
or like end of the world movies.
Mm,
You don't
I
seem
can tell you
excited.
it's all from real, true data. And they're just teasing us and being like, just this is what's going to happen.
I just like the idea of the universe. And while they were figuring out the shape of the universe, originally they thought I think there were 18 different potential mathematical constructs of what
Yeah.
it could be.
Yeah.
But they actually think it's really boring. The shape, if our universe has a shape, it's actually kind of boring and kind of
Flat Earth,
straight
just like
line.
Earth.
It not flat, but relatively speaking, it isn't like if like round and infinite, right? There is a shape to it.
Yeah.
But then the question is what's holding that shape? Well, gravity. And what is on the other side? Like, is there something on the other side?
I don't know, but I just blacked out, and that just scares me about mirrors even more. Because, like, yeah, if you're looking into a mirror, you're looking into the other side of the universe.
But if the universe is everything, what is on the other side of everything?
What is the universe? What is us? What is?
Transitioning.
No, it's an interesting topic. Where is this article from? Like, I just
Popular Mechanics.
Popular Mechanics. James Explore page and like his For You, whatever you want to call it, this is his
I vet the
stuff that he
sources I
gets.
look at.
Yeah. Well, of course, I know. Yeah, you follow all these. Like you find these from your social media.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this would be great to talk about on the podcast. It's like, what are you doing
I follow
over
like
there?
the Wall Street Journal and places that report things semi-accurately.
Not the New York Post?
I
Not the Daily
do
Mail?
not follow the New York Post
Or the Daily
or
you know
Fox
the Daily
News or
Oh, you just told everyone. All right. That was kind of gorgeous. Let us know, what else do you want James to cover? That was kind of fun too when people sent me in things.
I love getting a topic
I need to
discuss.
go back through that. I need to go back through. Now I've gotten a lot of the DMs and the Weird and Proud Instagram, so I just got to go through the messages. But a lot of people are sending in like a lot of skincare stuff because of course you did the red light. So
I knew I
like,
forgot about the retinol. We'll do skincare next time.
yeah, like if there's any, I mean, of course, like yeah, let's make James look up skincare stuff for us. But also like if there's anything else, like yeah, like mirrors are spooky.
The
I don't know,
skincare industry is fascinating to me. Just because the skin is the largest organ in the body. I'll argue that I think muscle is, but muscle isn't categorized as an organ.
Well, I just hope for my own sake, and like I think this is starting to come back, is like this idea of like it not being anti-aging. Like everything's like you can't age, getting older is, the worst. Like don't look old, you're gonna be ugly. And like people are like embracing, like obviously you want to have good looking skin, but this more like how to have good looking skin but still like age
Natural.
gracefully, but still be natural. Right.
Well, we were talking about this with your mom. I love the messages that someone who was like the sex icon when
Oh,
I was growing up,
Pamela.
Pamela Anderson, right?
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
was in the middle of anything to do with the opposite world, and now she's embraced that and speaking on that. I love that
Yeah.
she's doing that.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, she's an icon, a legend. All right, we don't really have a weird watch this week because we've again like been MIA and
Look
that
up the
was,
true crime that Sam's
oh yeah,
into.
look up, yeah, and I'm sure there's
Mica.
gonna be a documentary at some point coming out on that for sure. And if there are any weird watches too, if you have any recommendations of stuff, I feel like I've seen literally everything that's been older, but if there's anything new, I feel like we haven't had a chance to catch up on all the
Are
things.
you
But
excited about anything coming out? Like, are there
no,
any things that you want to see come out?
Wicked. The Wicked. Did you hear about the new Wicked trailer? This is
No.
like kind of not like a weird thing, but the Wicked Broadway show is being turned into a
Movie. Okay, that you did tell me.
and the trailer just came out, and it's anyways, this could be like a whole other episode on just the
Is
Wicked trailer. But
Kristen Chenworth in it?
no. She was on the OG Broadway cast, but now
Yeah.
Ariana Grande is playing her.
That's right. You had told me somebody was in it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredible. I'm really excited for that, but it's gonna be forever. And it's supposed to be 2 parts, which is also just so stupid. I don't know why these people do this.
Well,
So
I can
dumb.
tell you why they do it.
More money.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. Yeah.
We should write a Broadway show called Follow the Money.
Yeah, just be called, every lyric could be follow the money, follow the
That
money.
you just wrote that's the song that's going to make it
that is the
popular. That's
song.
what people will come for.
All right, you guys, I think it's that time for secret. Oh, speaking of sa. Apparently, Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton are also coming out with their own, or like a new version of their show that they did.
No way.
Yeah, back in the day.
That show was so
Why can't
ridiculous.
I not think of the name of it right now? I'm blacking out.
They had a couple of them.
Well, they had their one, like their originally, which was like the OG. Everyone's yelling this. I just know you're yelling this.
Simple Lives?
Simple Life. No, yes.
Is Simple Life one of them?
Yes.
That's one of them, but that's not. I don't think that was
Simple
the
Life.
first
It was
one.
the Simple Life. Yes.
Was that the first one they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Which was honestly,
See,
I remember that was like one of the funniest shows, and I was like in middle school when that came out, and it was iconic. Everyone was watching it, and like all the girls,
because they just did crazy dumb stuff.
It was like the first reality show that really ever came out,
and they both did play, which
they're geniuses.
And at that time, a lot of people we did think they were that dumb. They're not dumb by any means.
No, they're very smart. Okay, we have some gorgeous secrets. First, we have someone who is also calling back, who was at the show in Florida.
Oh,
Tuesday
sweet.
Poop Girl.
No,
she is called in.
Tuesday Poop Girl.
So, and this is hysterical. She only poops on Tuesdays. And she's got another little story for us. So here we go.
Hello. Hi. Good morning. It's Tuesday Poop Girl. For starters, great show in Florida. I loved every second of it. Please come to Denver. I would love that. Okay, for those that are new here, I've got chronic constipation, and I eat my fiber. Nobody come at me with that. Do you eat apples? Yes, I do. If there's a remedy, I've done it. So nobody give me some advice, please, because just sit back and listen. That's all. This is just a fun story. So I've been constipated since birth. My mom only fed me prunes for 2 full years as a toddler. It's like a big joke in my family. Like, I just be clogged up, Sam. I just be clogged up. And I was finally diagnosed because a few years ago I was going on 19 days and I thought I was going to die. I thought it was time to see my doctor, and they prescribed me medical grade laxatives. My doc was like, you will die if you don't shit in the next couple of days. So I took them, And that also happened to be the day that I was moving a new mattress, a new king-size fatty mattress into my 3rd-story bedroom. And it was the worst day of my life. I just remember like blacking out, running to the toilet, like blacking out. My legs went numb. Like I sat there for hours. And just that's my life. That's my life. So enjoy, guys. Enjoy the toilet.
That is so funny. We were dying laughing. So you guys obviously know, I've mentioned before, if you've been to a show, we do live secrets on stage. And such a trooper. Like, you guys are amazing. Being able to tell these stories and like not caring. But she did write in as a secret that she only poops on Tuesdays. And we were like, that is hysterical. And also, I just cannot imagine, like, even when we were in Spain and like anytime you travel, like, obviously our diet was shit too, but it's just like
Your
not,
clock gets a little thrown off.
yeah. And like even not pooping for like 2 days like makes you want to die. Like, I just can't imagine. Like, I just feel so bloated and like full. And I just can't imagine 19 days.
That's
That's
a new level of
insane. Like,
torture.
your colon must be the strongest colon in North America.
It's the colon of steel.
The colon of steel. Like, that must be like a Guinness World Record. Like, you should really see if there's a Guinness World Record for how long you've not pooped for.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because for real, 19 days is a long time. If you have a doctor's note, like, I'm sure.
Also, I mean, I know we don't have a lot of like press or reviews about your shows.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're going to see a Broadway show and they talk about all the reviews.
I know. I need to do that.
Well,
do that.
she just left one.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you see it, you like New York Times says, right?
Yeah.
We can say, well, you can say, girl who
girl
who only poops on Tuesday said the Fort Lauderdale show was awesome. Like, you've got it written already. Thank you, Tuesday Poop Girl.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. Yeah, no,
that's kind of the best. That's kind of the best review of all time.
And everyone knows to trust a girl who only poops on Tuesdays
because she's so telling the truth. She doesn't have time to fuck around.
No, she doesn't have time to fuck around. She's worrying about her colon. And your sphincter must be also pretty strong to hold that in. Oh my God, I just like can't imagine. I also like, I know you've heard it all, but I have some of these supplements that I've been taking, girl. And again, I'm sure you've tried it all, but anyways, hysterical. I love you so much. That was literally so funny. And just, wow, what a woman. What a woman. All right, James. Oh, also, if you haven't pooped for longer than 19 days, let us know. But I think like I should reach out to Guinness for you for sure.
Yeah, you need to talk to them for her.
Yeah, you should get a plaque for that one. All right. Are you ready for the next one, James?
Prepared.
Here we go.
This is in response to the bedtime routine question. Basically, it's something that I only really noticed when several people that I've dated pointed it out. But basically, when I brush my teeth, I always cross my arms, so I have one of my arms hugging me and the other brushing, and I always go sit down on my bed. Sometimes it's a chair, but usually it's a bed throughout the whole brushing of the teeth. So I'm never standing. I have no idea why, but it's a thing.
I thought this was a great initiation for a conversation about, and I know we've kind of talked about a little bit, like weird things you do before bed.
Yep.
Weird things you do at night, or like weird things you do first thing in the morning. Like routines. It's so interesting to see like people's routines and like what certain people do, you know, whether it's, you know, like, yeah, like, I don't know, like more like a superstition thing, or it's just something you've always done, or like something you thought you needed to do. And that's an interesting one. Like, that's so niche that you have to either like be holding yourself to
I'm
brush your
trying to
teeth.
actively picture
Well,
it.
it's like she's like going like this.
I'm gonna
You're like watching the visual.
The sitting down, I'm gonna back that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a safety thing.
Well, and it's like, I don't know if you guys also have like an electric toothbrush. Like mine like makes you brush your teeth for like 2 minutes. And like that's a long time to be standing.
But I think it's more a safety issue. Imagine if you were tired and like you were gonna fall
And you,
forward
yeah.
and you jam your toothbrush in the back of your throat. That hurts.
Wow, something to think about. Something to think
It's
about,
a
guys.
safety
Safety
thing.
first.
Thank
But
you for
that
making
is
America
so
safer.
random. Yeah, that's a great idea. Spread the tips, the safety tips. But it just brings up an interesting conversation. Do you think there's something you do that's weird that other people might not do in the morning or at night?
Mine's so pretty straightforward.
I know. Like I was trying to think if there's anything weird that I do, but like not really.
I'm trying to see, but the thing you caused my brain to do by asking that,
Yeah.
I was picturing anyone I've ever been around at night.
Yeah, like are other people who've done weird things.
And like
I mean, like obviously
my
we talked
roommates in
about
college,
sound
right?
machines and stuff that we do, but
Roommates and stuff I've been around, like I can't think of.
I know I had told you this isn't like crazy, but I have a friend that when they go to bed at night, they turn off all their Wi-Fi
See, that's
and
smart.
unplug their
No, that's like a light.
their-
That's not, dude, a lot of biohackers are
a
into
lot
that.
of EMF. Yeah, yeah,
A lot of biohackers are
yeah,
into
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't get the EMF.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's smart.
But it's just like, but it is just funny. It's like a very niche thing. So I'm just curious, if there's anything else that you guys do that revolves around like nighttime or even just any routines. Like if there's something like as routine, especially like my OCD girlies, like
They have the cool ones.
Yeah.
When you get
they probably wouldn't say cool, but interesting ones that you're like,
it's weird and proud. So things that are way out there are cool.
Yeah. That would always like I guess like too probably one of the weirdest things is like whenever I'm like in a car and I'm not driving, I would always like anytime like we passed a telephone pole, I would like try not to breathe or like try and breathe in and out every time we pass a telephone pole.
Just to focus on something because of your motion sickness.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like just like random stuff like that.
You have to take yourself away
or
from.
if it's raining and you try and follow the raindrop down the
I
the
forgot
window.
to you made me think of the mirror thing. Hold on. I forgot
What?
to say this. Do you know why the looking at yourself in the mirror thing does actually help the meditative process?
Why?
Because you have to now picture yourself in the world
Mm.
versus, so one of the big practices of meditation is you think about your third eye.
Right.
And your third eye is that thing that's up in the corner looking at you.
Yeah.
It's kind of an activity to have you look at yourself.
Interesting.
But
yeah, that's true.
Staring at yourself in the mirror forces that. So that's why there is
That's
some
true.
validity to that.
Yeah.
I don't know
That
why I
makes
just thought of that
sense.
with that, but I needed to finish on it.
And also, I will say to finish on mirrors is whatever you do, if you take 8 grams of mushrooms, also don't look in the mirror.
That would just make America safer.
There was nothing scarier than looking at myself in the mirror on mushrooms. Like, I can't tell you enough. Like, also, I feel like I'm still traumatized so much from that event.
You absolutely are.
Like, I really can't say how much I can't tell you guys enough how much that event changed me. And now, people are sending me all these stories of like people who have done like the craziest shit on mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it really is like, you gotta like it. Like, there's also someone had sent me this one guy. I don't know if it was mushrooms. It was some sort of psychedelic drug that he took. And then like, he never stopped being high. Like he's like constantly, he will see like hallucinations. He sees things. He hears things. He like feels like he's in a dream 24/7.
Short circuited his brain.
Literally. There's no therapy. There's no medication. There's nothing. He says the only thing that helps is drinking alcohol. Funny enough.
Calms the brain down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he short circuited his brain.
Yeah. And that literally, if that doesn't scare you enough. I mean, mushrooms are great, but just be careful. Don't take 8 grams. Take like 1 or 2. Take another word from the wise, another safety message from your girl. All right. Are you ready?
That was a great call.
What?
The whole topic we just talked about.
Right, it is. It's interesting, and that is always something I'm always interested to learn about other people's routine. Like, and I think that's why too. A lot of videos on social media, it's like, get ready in the morning with me, do my makeup with me. It's like, oh yeah, how do you do that? Because it's just like such a natural thing. You just when you get up in the morning, you do the things you think you're supposed to do. But I'm sure there are just many ways to start a day, many ways to end a day.
That there
are. Okay, are you ready for the last one? This one's silly, goosey. Here we go.
Okay, so I've dated 3 Travises in my life, and the story involves Travis 2 and 3. Travis 2 had a lot of issues that stemmed from his parenting, and he would never want to have sex. He had sex once in his life and said he would never do it again unless he was married. And so instead, he would dry hump my leg until he came. Well, anytime I would use the bathroom, he would comment on how he could hear what I was doing. And also, if I showered at his place, he would want me to wear a swimsuit, even if I was by myself. But again, he would yell like, "Oh, I can hear you farted. I can hear you peed." And so it made me very self-conscious. By the time I got to Travis 3, we went on our first trip together, and we were in a cabin, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I had my dog with me, and my dog, for the sake of the story, is extremely well trained. I walk up the stairs so I could use a different bathroom so he couldn't hear me. At the top of the stairs, I felt someone push me and say, "What are you doing?" There was nobody there. I freaked out, and I looked down, and my dog had peed all over herself. I go down and tell him the story. We get in this huge fight. When we get back, I decided I was going to break up with him. Before we do that, he puts on Kill Bill, an M. Night Shyamalan film, and I was like, I'll break up with him after. Had no idea how long it was. At the end of the movie, all he said was,
And then it ends. Then you said what?
We need to call
I
back.
have so many questions about this voicemail. First of all, okay, that you dated 3 Travis is hilarious. The second Travis, the fact that, like, I'm so confused. So he wouldn't have sex, but he would hump your leg. Okay. And he was calling out like he didn't like hearing you pee. Like he didn't like you. He didn't like that. So like what were you supposed to do about it? Like, okay, close your ears. Like go outside.
It sounds like a very
Yeah, no,
because
the
maybe
OCD type
the
of person.
first thing that popped into my head, not saying I'm right, and this is not a diagnosis, but I think that would tie into some form of childhood humor. Again, if he was so traumatized, he's living in this childlike state,
Yeah.
obviously, where humping a leg is he can
Yeah.
do that, but he can't have sex or not hump the leg, like do other non-sex
it's
things.
so
I get it. If
bizarre.
people want to choose to be celibate for marriage, that's one thing.
Right.
But to then go and hump the leg is an interesting
Right.
release in a different way.
Right. That's
So there's obviously a childhood connection there. And I think making fun of somebody's poo-poos and pee-pees is like a
well, I don't know if he
childlike.
was making fun of it or just like being like, I can hear you pee.
That's what I
you
was wondering.
know?
I
Well, if it's
took
like,
it as he was kind of trying to be
oh,
playful
okay.
about it.
I was wondering if he was like mad and he was like, I don't want to hear. That's why like she was like, I'm going to the other bathroom, so
Did
he can't
we
hear
just
me.
look at one thing and see it different ways, like you said before?
It's a mirror.
It's a mirror.
This voicemail's a mirror.
We looked at 2 separate
And
things.
the taking a shower and wearing a bathing suit?
Yes.
Question mark? What is the point of that?
But yet he'll hump your leg till
yeah.
Lots of things with sex and poop and pee with him. He's got to work through that.
Yeah, what trauma did he
But we're
go
not on
through?
Travis 2. We're on the story around Travis 3.
But on Travis 3, yeah, so then your dog pees, you like, is this place haunted? Like, did you ever find out who pushed you? Was it the dog? Wait, what M. Night Shyamalan movie did she say?
So
Kill Bill? Is that,
unfortunately, I'm not. Kill Bill is not an M. Night
that's
Shyamalan
what I
movie.
thought, and I thought she heard Kill Bill. I was like, what?
She might have said he either put on an M. Night Shyamalan movie or Kill Bill. And maybe she was saying that. I don't know. But let's just be clear. M. Night Shyamalan. Kill Bill is a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Right.
It's a fabulous Quentin Tarantino movie.
Sure.
Which one? Kill Bill 1 or Kill Bill 2? It's important.
Sure. But then
I think she was trying to tell us, she was getting to the heart of the whole story, was the 3 Travises make it funny.
Yeah.
Travis's number 2 behavior traumatized her, so she had to go upstairs.
Yep.
Then she ran into a potential ghost.
Then she
got cut off.
And then you were watching the movie, and then Travis
had to
3
go,
and then it cut off.
Yeah.
And I looked everywhere. I could not find like a second voicemail. Like, girl, you need to tell us what the fuck Travis
is she
said.
doing this just the same way that Wicked split it into 2 stories?
Yeah. Maybe it's a mirror. We need to know what he said, and like I need to know how the story ends. I can't believe you left us hanging, but I was just cackling at the leg humping. That's a bizarre. I mean, hopefully you didn't say anything about Travis 1, but a bizarre couple Travises you got
So
there.
we need to catch up on Travis 1. We need to hear your psychological profile on Travis 2.
Yeah.
But you need to start with the end. You got to start with
And what movie was it? I need to know.
the fact that your very well trained dog peed itself says something at
And
those
someone
stairs.
pushed her.
And someone pushed her. We need to hear more about that.
Yeah, you need to call back in, please. Please and thank you. But what a gorgeous, just like, again, couple random, lovely, gorgeous, stunning secrets that were called in. And we have so many other good ones. You guys are just cracking me up. We're going through them. I try and, we have like some of the poop stories. I try and just like mix it up so it's not all poop stories. It's not all something. I feel like that's better when they all are kind of a little bit different. So, or if you have sent it in over a couple months ago, if it's been over 3 months, it might just be either the sound was bad or again that it was just too
Call
long.
back
Even
in.
though some of you guys have been good at keeping it like, on in the minute 30 seconds, but call back in and let us give it another shot. So you can call in at
SpeakPipe.
That's speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. I can't believe I forgot to say it in the beginning. Normally I always say it after I do the
I was
transition.
going to pull you into it. I was going to say, where again
Why
can
didn't you?
I was going to go, where again can the people call?
Why didn't you then?
And then I was going to go, SpeakPipe.
So call in. It's anonymous always. It's super easy to do. I'll put the link in the description of the podcast. It's also on the Instagram, and make sure you're following on Instagram. I think we're like 300 followers away. Not that it really matters. Like, honestly, it doesn't really matter, but it just, just solidifies that we're 10K of the weirdlings. The weirdlings. I'm trying out the weirdlings. I like weirdlings.
I'm liking weirdlings.
Yeah. So we're going to keep that unless somehow it feels weird or if some people are really against it, but I feel pretty good about it. So call us in, leave us a weird voicemail. Let us know. Again, I want to know your weird routines or, something
I
weird.
like the idea of maybe you did leave a great one, but the sound that happens and it's not your fault. Call back in.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard yours and it's been
I
a
have
couple
got a
months.
couple that, either a couple of them have cut off like midway. I have played them just to be like, girl, call us back in. But there's some that just, again, the quality was just not good. It was way too low. So try back. And we love you guys so much. We appreciate you always calling in and being so supportive. And
hope to get to meet you at a show soon.
Yes, we hopefully can meet you and give you guys big hugs soon in person.
If you're wondering if you should go to a show or not, the
The
girl
answer
who
is
only
yes.
poops on Tuesdays said the show was great.
Yeah, she said she loved every second of it.
Yeah.
So that's when it's a good show. We love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Love you, weirdlings. Bye.